Hello everybody, Walter here. Today, as you can see, we're going to start on a new Let's Play series, and once again we are playing Oxygen Not Included. Not only with a decent number of quality of life updates, but also 3 new DLCs, and for this playthrough I'm going to concentrate on the Frosty Planet and maybe the Bionic Booster Pack. My main goal here is to get all of the achievements for these two, and while I'm in it I might as well aim for an all achievement run. Although I'm not 100% sure that we will actually be able to get everything, since some of the critters or plants might be missing. But we'll see. Anyway, let's get started. And obviously we're going to play in survival. And the planet we're looking for is Ceres over here. Blasted Ceres. And yeah, first step is finding a decent start. And that looks good, so we now have more geysers, we have some rare materials and geodes, and we have crashed satellites for radiation research. Very nice. The slime molds also shouldn't be an issue. At the temperatures there, the slime lung will die off, and it also works as an emergency supply for oxygen, which might be quite handy on this planet. Anyway, let's get started. And at least once the initial loading here is done, we should select our initial 3 dupes. And first things first, I'm going to make sure they are all standard dupes. I'm not going to bother with the bionic dupes in the beginning. That only makes life a bit harder than it needs to be. I'm also aiming for one very specific positive trait, which is the frostproof trait, since, well, the planet is rather cold, at least in the starting area, and with the chilly surroundings debuff, they are basically just worth half of dupe, and I can't have that. So anyway, let's select a couple decent dupes. Like these here, for example. I've also went ahead and already added their main job to their name, and also renamed the colony a little bit, and yeah, with that, it's time to embark. The ambient temperatures of this planet are inhospitably low. I've detected the ruins of a scientifically advanced settlement buried in deep beneath our landing site. If my duplicants can survive the journey into this frosty planet's core, we could use this newfound technology to build a colony like no other. And there's already the hint towards the main achievement on this map here. Anyway, first things first, we'll need to get over to this setup over there, so let's first dig a little bit over in this direction. And if you look around, you can see there are a few things missing that you usually have on a map. So we don't have any raw materials, I can't build normal tiles, but we have at least snow tiles now available. So I can build a few of those, and the ladders I can build out of the wood we have. Which is going to be a bit of an issue, since the wood has other uses on this map as well. But for now, as I said, main goal is getting over here, because we have one major issue, and that is the temperatures here, which means that we don't have liquid water. And for our bathroom, we need that. Anyway, let's prioritize the path down, and then we can already start on a few things over here. So consumables is not what I'm looking for, so first, priorities. My diggers also do all of the building and all of the attacking. No one is supposed to do any decorating, by the way. Then my researcher is obviously going to do research, but also life support, and then with slightly lower priority toggling, tidding, operating, farming, supplying, and storing. So basically everything else. Good. Then we have schedule. I don't need as much sleep, and I don't need any bath time. This is the shift number 1. Don't need the alarms for that. Going to add a shift number 2. Just in preparation for later, and then I'm just going to shift this like that. Yeah, looks good. Then under F9 we have our disinfection deactivation, and yeah, just about the correct moment in time. So what did we unlock? So R.K.F, we've decrypted the research portal's final transmission. New buildings have become available. Wood heater, ice liquefier, and wood tiles. One file was labeled open this first, new database entry unlocked. And we could look through this, but I'm not going to bother too much. Anyway, we have to continue, so let's just start on a path down maybe. But more importantly, we should start on two things. For one, we need an ice liquefier over here. That's going to be rather important. This is also rather important. And then the next thing we will need to build is a bathroom, and I'm just going to build this down here. So this needs to be 64. We have this one there. Then we have another 8 long room. Like that. I'll keep it open in the end there for now. And then we are going to need medical wash basins. Then under plumbing, the outhouses, which I'm going to place there. And now let's prioritize just the basic stuff for the moment. First. So now the ice liquefier, as the name implies, uses wood to turn ice into liquid water, which we're going to need for our wash basins, but also for our research, which will be one of the next few steps. Ah, come on. But for the moment, let's concentrate on getting this bathroom here up and running. And looks like we are just about to finish with the end of the shift. Yeah, that was rather close, but now we should have 2 outhouses running. I should also increase the priority for these in case they get built up. And yeah, now it's time to plan out the next stage, which is first of all our Great Hall, centered around the printing pot, with a kitchen next to it. So this will be the second layer. Then I have my ladder connecting it, and this needs to go to higher. Then I have a little ledge, the wall, and another ledge. Door here, door there, and then the final door over there. Few more ladders here. Then I can dig out this area and this area. This little part there. And that is looking good. I should also dig out this part there. And now for the part I actually should prioritize. The barracks. Now I need to mirror this entire setup a bit, because originally I thought I would build this to the right of my printing pot, but the research portal is in the way, so I have to mirror. So anyway, this will be my living quarters, or barracks. And in case you're wondering why I'm keeping the corner as is, I want to keep as much of those pike apple bushes alive as I can, since they will be rather important later on. 6 wide, and another 6 wide, and then a 4 wide. Okay, that works. Then I'm going to dig out all of this here. And then I need cots, and then another one for a potential snorer over there. So, then prioritizing this building and this building. And yeah, that should hopefully be done in the next cycle. Now, while we're waiting on that, we might as well get started on the ladders over here. And yeah, need to go down. And we'll have to see what is up there in a bit. So, now, let's start with some digging orders. And as I said, I'm going to keep as much of those here alive as I can for the moment. Then, let's go down. And dig out all of this part there. And we might also want to dig out this part here so we can get over there. Okay. And yeah, I should maybe prioritize making sure my dupes can actually get out of the bathroom. And I should also prioritize the bathroom itself, so it's actually giving us a proportional room. bonus. We also should have no need of all of this. This should be rummaged. Once my dupes actually can reach it. Okay, next step is waiting until those bags, or at least a few of those cots here are in place. And there we go, that's the third cot, which means we get our corresponding achievement. Bed and bath. Have at least one toilet in the colony and a bed for every duplicant. Very nice. Okay, that means we can concentrate on the next stage, which is getting research going, and I think I'm going to build this over here in line with the liquefier. So, first I need some power storage, and preferably not within the area we actually need to dig out. Then a generator. And a research station, kind of obvious. Then connect this power wire, and I might as well prepare for the supercomputer. Then let's prioritize all of this here, so we can start our research. And our first research target is going to be the Jumbo battery for improved storage. Now, that Jumbo battery will have to go somewhere, and I think I'm just going to build this on top. Let's build a little floor here, and this should be enough space for another hamster wheel, and then 1, 2, 3 Jumbo batteries. Which I can now actually place, now that the research is finished. Okay, looks good. Now, next research target will be a bit further down. The supercomputer and advanced research. That is going to be very important very soon. So that is definitely going to be the next target. Now, while I'm here, I might as well give some more digging orders just to get a little bit more food. So those buried objects tend to be some food. I'm also going to dig into more of the oxalite, since, as you can see, there is no algae around. So the moment the oxalite here will have to be enough for our colony. But we are very soon going to have to put up a setup for an electrolyzer. So I also want to get in there. So let's see. The floor there. For now I'm going to keep those aloe veras in place. They turn carbon dioxide into oxalite, but not really efficient. So I'm not really a fan of using those. As I said, I prefer an electrolyzer. And then let's just dig out this. That's going to be interesting. I'm definitely going to expand in this direction pretty soon. If I can. That will be likely where we are going to get a decent number of food from pretty soon. Now, let's have a look over here, so we can see more now. Yeah, there's definitely food up there. So let's see. Just going to dig up this spot, and then going to dig over there. I'm going to leave a little ledge there. Let's see. One there, one there, one there. Oh, yes, I have one there. Do all of this digging in operation. Also need to get in there, like that. Okay, that is starting to take shape over here. And we're just about to get another dupe, so let's just speed up a few seconds for that. And the first research is also finished. And now let's see. I would like a rancher. And, okay, plant murderer. That's a bit unfortunate. But he's going to do ranching all his time, or most of his time anyway, so we might as well use him. So, Stinky, you're going to be our rancher. It's kind of fitting in his name. Oh, okay. Yeah. Good. Okay, now let's start at the top. First things first, we're going to make sure my dupes don't eat the pike apples. They will have another use later on. Then the priorities. We have for Stinky. Ranching, highest priority. Has his life support. Then some toggling, tidding, operating, supplying and storing. And also farming for the moment. He's not good at it, but might be important. Then skills. Our rancher, or future rancher, needs first of all the improved farming for that. Okay. Duplicant moral, duplicant temperature. Yeah, of course, he's freezing, so we should prioritize actually making our way. How do we want to do this? Over in this corner, so we get access to the warm coat over there, and then he can wear it and doesn't have this chilly surroundings debuff with -5 athletics, which is absolutely agonizing on this starting biome here. And here comes Stinky to grab the warm coat from the coat hanger, and then obviously also wear it. And with that, this chilly surrounding here should very soon disappear. Yep, there you have it. Now he's just shivering for a few more seconds, and then that will also disappear, and now he's almost as good as the other dupes. In the meantime, we also finished with our research, so we should now be able to actually place our supercomputer over here, high priority. And then the next research will be at the very top, ranching, or basically everything on the way to ranching. Which also means we need to prioritize, well, for one, the supercomputer, but also our ranching setup, which will be below our bathroom. So the next big step is just digging out in this whole area here, and once I've done that, I'm going to put in the actual floors. That way I don't have to later on deal with all of the debris lying around. This will already be on the lowest possible floor through gravity. And that should be enough space for 2 whole floors. So let's put those in place. We'll have a door on each end. Then I need to go from this corner here 13. So I'm going to use a slightly different setup than usual. And put my separator in there. A good bit of the research has finished already, and I'm still waiting for my researcher to actually get the last missing skill point for the supercomputer research. That shouldn't take too long though. We also have some more digging to do over here, it appears. If I dig in there, this whole thing here will collapse and I'm losing everything, so just going to dig, let's say, down like that. Yeah, that should work. That should work. Okay, that's looking good. So, and we have also something over here. So, let's see. Let's dig out all of this, and then this part there. Yeah, that looks good. We really should get started on digging out all of this here. We might also want to set all of these here to auto harvest. That is kind of important. And we have finally our research point. So let's see, advanced research. And now we can actually finish with our ranching setup. Now, I already know I'm going to need power down here, so I might as well start on the power wire. And we are also going to need some power wire in the kitchen for electrical grill and the micro musher. This here will go out to the other side. Okay, that is all slowly starting to take shape. So for now, until the research is done, we should concentrate, I think, on digging out the core of the base. And once we are done with the research, I'm going to put a similar focus on my ranches. So first, let's put in the grooming station and the shearing station, which is actually where the power comes in play. Then we're going to need a critter drop-off. And then finally, a critter feeder. Now let's set this all to same priority as the rest of my core base. Get out. Apparently never got rid of that one. Now we need to start the next research. For that we're going to go to the very bottom here. And aim first for the flower pot, for the Great Hall, and then our automation. Just notice the Great Hall is still missing its mess tables. Oh, those should be maybe a bit higher on priority. Okay, we also have some skill points waiting, so now my diggers can dig through hard materials like granite. That is going to be useful once we start expanding. And we are just about to get another dupe, it appears. That is also nice. Okay, and aside of that, we are advancing quite nicely. We also have a good amount of food. Although, a good bit of that is already not allowed in my deep suite. But for now, let's see if we can find a good dupe. So, I do need a mechatronics engineer next, and I think one of those two here. I think Nisbeth. Nisbeth is going to be our mechatronics engineer. With her operating interest. Okay, that is looking pretty good actually. So, first on all, let's go through the priorities. So she's primarily going to do operating, but also some supplying, storing, farming, tiddying, toggling, and of course life support. Skill point wise, I'm going to give her first some improved carry capacity, since she will have to do a lot of that. Okay, that is all starting to take shape. Schedule. I should play around with the schedule a bit, so I'm going to put my second digger into the second shift, as will be my mechatronics, and then later on, which will be the next one, my cook. Okay. And about a cycle later, we are now done with the research again. So let's next target from plumbing all the way to liquid distribution, since I need the bottle drainer, which is a rather new building that allows you to direct the empty bottles into a pipe. There is also a corresponding one for the gas pipes. So now, can't build any of those flower pots yet, since I don't have the materials. I also don't have any refined metals yet, which is something I should also start preparing, but for now, we should get all of this here built first. So it's almost cycle 10 and we are finally about to get our last dupe for a good while. Now, I need a cook. Preferably frostproof. Now, +3 and -3 is 0. That's still better than the alternatives. Okay, Mima, you're our new cook. At least she has researching, so she levels a little bit faster. Even though it's not really required for a cook. Anyway, let's get started. Priorities first. So Mima is going to, of course, do all of the cooking. She's also going to do life support, toggling, tiddying, A little bit of operating and farming, some supplying and storing, but priority is cooking at least. Okay, then schedule. Let's put her in shift 2. Then under skills, she gets a point in grilling, obviously. So I can make use of the electrical grill. And yeah, we're running a little bit low, so I might want to maybe make 5 of those pineapple skewers with 6 tubes. That is exactly 1 cycle worth. So that might be a good idea. Maybe increase the priority for this. Food is very important after all. So, apparently this one here got buried. We also want to make our way over there so we can access all of this. And I should really prioritize all of this here a bit higher, I suspect. Digging over here and over there, as well as the construction. Yeah, and we have some stuff over there that might be interesting. You know what, now that I'm prioritizing everything at level 6, this kinda lost its usefulness. I might want to dig up here too, because that is much faster than the alternatives. So, wait, that's too high. Just preparing for later. We're also going to want to dig out this area here. It is going to be another one of those living quarters. And then we will have another one on top of that. Wait, what actually? So that, yeah, that makes more sense. The letters though don't make any sense. So just like that, and then there will be a 4th one on top of that. Just like this here. Okay, this can all be dug out. This can all be dug out. And this here can also be all dug out. And we have an achievement. Let's have a look. It's not raw. Have a duplicant eat any cooked meal prepared at an electrical grill or gas range. So that was one of those pineapple skewers, I suspect heavily. Okay, so research is also almost done. Once that is through, I'm going to rush off into improved plumbing, since otherwise I will have massive problems with water just freezing in the pipes. And 2 cycles later, we have done most of the necessary digging. All that's left in the core here are those, at the moment, not really required future barracks. I also used the opportunity to dig out the snow on top of this layer first, so I don't have to worry about that dropping down here and actually playing havoc with the pack that were rushes here. Oh, and apparently this is not accessible properly. No. Research is also now done. And the next one, I think, will actually be a bit further up here. So we can get some refined metals and then later on the fire pole, since we are starting to get into an area where my dupes are spending most of the time just traveling around, and the fire pole is quite the improvement over the normal speed here. So let's see. I might as well start with one of these just in preparation for later. So this here will be the water sieve for my bathroom, and then this here will be the overflow liquid reservoir. Okay, so now let's have a final look around. Anything over here? Oh, a bemmer. That is going to be very useful. And plum squash as well. Might want to make sure my dupes don't eat that though. That has other uses as well. Bombo tree. Nice. That is interesting. Okay, anything around? Aside of that, not really. So, next episode, definitely we're going to start expanding because we still need quite a few things we can't find in this biome here, like raw materials and metal ores that you can actually refine because this cinnabar here, when you refine it, turns into mercury, and at the temperatures here, that is actually a liquid, so you can't really use it for building stuff. Well, yeah, I think we've reached a good point to put a pin in this episode here. And in the next episode, as I said, we're going to start exploring the outer biomes to get the various materials we are currently missing from our base. And that brings us to the actual end of in this episode here. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, and comment if you did so. It really helps for everyone. In the end of that, I wish you a nice day, and well, see ya.